Welcome to the Groove Junction, episode 67, guys. 67. As always, thank you ever so much for joining us here today. I've got a guest. I've got a co-host. Great guy. Northern guy. Great guy. All right. We're going to bring on, he's got a co-host with me, my guest tonight. We're going to get into the nitty-gritty about this guy. Lovely guy, he really is. As always, thank you ever so much for everyone that is listening to the podcast on all your podcast providers. And for the people that are watching on Spotify and YouTube, massive shout out going out to you guys as well. Thank you ever so much for all the messages that people have been sending me throughout the week and everything. Shout out going out to Sophie Lowe. Sophie Lowe's been on the show a couple of times. I've asked her if she would like to come back after Christmas. She's up for it. She's up for it. She's going to be on it. And we'll talk a little bit more about Sophie Lowe later on down the line. But if you do not know about Real Not Perfect, check it out. All right? Real Not Perfect, Sophie Lowe on the socials there. Now, as always, the Groove Junction is kindly supported by Wolf Mix, our friends at Wolf Mix. So your intelligent lighting, guys, mate, amazing stuff. So thank you ever so much for that. Right, let's get our guest on and co-host this evening, Mr. John Lowe. There he is. Hey, how you doing, John? How you doing, bro?
I'm all right.
It's good to see you. I'm very well, thank you. Thanks for coming on to the Groove Junction and co-hosting with me this evening. I say it's all, I guess. You've been on the list for a while, and I know you couldn't do last week because you was a little bit busy last week, wasn't you?
Yes, me and 40,000 people in Benidorm. Yeah,
Benidorm, love Benidorm. Benidorm. We're going to get into Benidorm and this and that and the other very, very shortly. But as always, guys, with the Groove Junction, we are going to tell you all about the rundown, and the rundown is sponsored by our friends at the Pro Mobile magazine.
The Groove Junction rundown is sponsored by Pro Mobile magazine, the magazine that's got it all. It's a game changer. They don't just do surface-level reviews, they dive deep with real practical insights. And the interviews? They feature some heavy hitters sharing seriously valuable advice. But it's not just about DJ gear. They cover everything. Marketing techniques, and even the latest tech trends like AI, which is super relevant right now. Honestly, if you're serious about your DJ career, you need to check them out. And here's the best part, we've got an exclusive deal just for the Groove Junction listeners. You can subscribe right now by searching Pro Mobile Magazine and hitting the subscribe button. Just use our special code, GroovePMSUB, for a 25% discount on your first year's subscription, which is 6 magazines delivered to your door. That's Pro Mobile Magazine. Don't miss out.
Thank you, Pro Mobile magazine. So, John, co-host, I'm going to let you start first. Give us a rundown on what you've been up to in the last week.
I had one gig which was on Saturday, just gone. That was the only one because I've been in Benidorm for the fiestas.
Nice.
Hence why the voice is a little bit ropey. I've only just sort of got it back.
Was you working out in Benidorm, was you?
No. I was just sampling a few little sangrias and stuff like that.
Oh, I like it. You're doing your bit.
Then they do every year the fiesta for the British. I think it's a kind of a thank you to say, for coming over and there's just like 40,000 people. It's like a nightclub on the streets all day, nice. All night.
Wicked.
So, yeah.
Lots of DJs or?
I saw a couple of them. Nothing that I'd know. They had at the very end of the strip, they had a massive kind of out rig set up, and 3 DJs were on there. But the clubs walking down, each had their own DJ, so there was all speakers going onto the street. So it was kind of like if you go in a nightclub, you speak to someone, and then you go outside, and it's like, oh, I can hear you now. No, you can't. You're still shouting.
Really?
So, yeah, it was manic, but loved it. First time, been Benidorm loads of times, but the first time for the fiestas, yeah, epic.
Do you do it again?
Really was. Definitely, yeah.
Okay, there
Definitely.
you go. So listen, guys, if you haven't done the fiestas in Benidorm, Johnny here has said it's definitely worth. It's on the bucket list of things to do. It's got to be, yeah.
It's the old kind of nightclubs like, back in the day when it was just like you were all sandwiched in.
Love that.
But on the streets as well.
The sticky floors and all that, yeah?
Yeah.
Love that. And that's it. That's all you've done then, really? So you've done a lot.
I did a little bit of a gig on Saturday night at one of the Haven resorts for a company I work for. So just literally finished the night of doing a DJ set. Yeah, that's about it on the Saturday.
Okay,
Up in
cool.
Flukeberry, Lake District.
Nice. We're going to get into a little bit in a minute, John, of whereabouts you're based in the UK, and your little story and everything. For me, I had a pretty cute weekend as a week as well. Really, I had nothing during the week, but myself, Matty F, and Just James, we went over to Wales, Llandaft Cathedral for a silent disco. It was a 2-night thing. We did 80s nights, both nights, and I won't lie, the journey there was horrific. It rained the whole time there. I mean, I've never been to Wales where it hasn't rained, to be fair. Every time I've gone to Wales, it's always rained, and this was no exception. It absolutely, there was rivers of water running down the side of the road, and traffic was a nightmare. Luckily, I wasn't driving. Matty did all the driving, but it was, yeah, he's like my little chauffeur. He really is. He's got a new car as well, so he loves driving at the moment. So yeah, it was, the weather was shocking, so I think that sort of dampened the numbers a little bit for the Friday night. And then we finished the gig. We finished at 11. Went back to the hotel, had a few drinks in the bar, and a little chit chat, and then decided to go out in Cardiff at like 1:30 in the morning. I've never been out in Cardiff in the evening. It was an experience. Let me tell you that. It was an experience. So we went into a bar called Coyote Ugly, a bit like the film. I was expecting it to be heaving. It wasn't. There was about 100 people in there. There was dancers on the bar. We had one drink in there and we moved on to another bar. The next bar we went into, I can't remember what it was called. It was heaving. I mean, absolutely heaving. But I'll tell you one thing that I did notice in the two bars that we went to, Coyote Ugly and this other bar, there was no DJ. It was all just it wasn't even pre-mixed. It was just like it's like a Spotify playlist. And then there was a pause between each song. But this bar was absolutely heaving. They didn't need a DJ. They didn't need to spend out for a DJ. It was heaving. And it made me think, like, are we in danger at these DJs? I mean, the club industry is sort of falling a little bit anyway. But yeah, it was a bit shocking. And then we went into another bar again. That was but they had a DJ. The last bar we went into, we had a DJ. It was really good. Yeah, really good. And then Saturday we did another show. That one finished at midnight. And then we come home. So yeah, so that was my week, really. Pretty low key from what I'm normally used to, which was quite nice. It was nice. It was nice. Right. Mate, we've got loads to talk about. That was the rundown, as always, sponsored by our friends at Pro Mobile Magazine. Thank you, Pro Mobile Magazine. Right, John. I'm just gonna hand you the floor, my friend. I'll chirp in every now and then. I'll just have a little pop in every now and then. Tell us about yourself. Now, I know that we've worked together once before on a silent disco, and that's where I think it was Sheffield, wasn't it? Was it Sheffield?
Yes, it was Sheffield.
We did Sheffield. And obviously, I've seen you on social and all of that, on socials and everything. You're generally a really nice guy. I really like you.
So surprised.
No, but yeah, and here you are on the Groove Junction. So, John, I'm going to hand the floor over to you, mate. Tell us about you. Tell us where you're from. What do you do? I mean, you've just touched on like Haven stuff. Maybe you could tell us about that. Just crack on. Let's go. Do it.
So DJing, it'll be 20 years this year now.
You don't look old enough.
No. See, that's why I'm Grant Mitchell.
I forgot about that, to be fair.
So yeah, I used to go in Wigan, the King Street, and that's the main strip in Wigan. All the bars were either side. Used to just bounce down. Went into a little bar called Chicago Rock, which was for the ones out there listening, and the guy was in there. Used to just go out and he'd be moaning all the time that his shoulder was very sore. And I'm like, why? He said, because people are like that. Can I have this song? Can I have this one? So I kind of went in and went, well, I'll take some song requests for you and save your shoulder. And then it progressed that he'd keep going out for a cigarette. And he says, when the song runs out, push that fader up. That's it. And I think the cigarette started probably about that big, and then just stuffed. I think I'd seen him one night for about 2 hours.
Love
And
that.
he was just out on the veranda. And then they offered me a Christmas Eve. They went, it's not going to be that busy. And I was like, yeah. So did that. The guy was all right with it. Carried on then doing Sunday nights in there. Manager came in from another bar, wanted me to do there. So basically I just kind of progressed sort of all the way up King Street, really. I also I think I met someone on a Butlins weekend once, a DJ. He put an advert for about wanting DJs in Manchester, put my name forward for that. He'd never heard me. The company I was working for had never heard me. And I ended up with a residency in Tiger in Manchester in the what was called the Groovy Room, which was your 70s,
Nice.
80s, 90s cheese and stuff like that.
Nice.
Did that on and off for 7 years, as well as having a residency in one of the big clubs in Wigan. And then sort of progressed to start doing weddings, really. Lockdown came. Obviously, we didn't know how long it was going to be happening for. But when I came out, the sort of club changed. The club scene had changed. And then I started working for some wedding companies.
Okay.
Yeah, and then do that as well as still like keep me hand in with I'll do the Butlins, the big weekends as well. To be honest, a lot of it has been right place, right time.
Okay. So going back, John, I mean, the DJ there, you started taking on the like just taking the request. I'm guessing that he was DJing, and then people come up and say, "Oh, can you get him to play this?" And you was telling him what to play, that sort of thing. Is that right? Yeah. So, and then obviously he wants a little cigarette, and then he goes, "I'll just push that fader up." Because back then it was, I'm guessing how long are we going back? Are we talking vinyl, or are we talking CD? What are we talking?
We're actually talking computer, but Chicago Rock, and I can't remember the company that used to own it. I think it might have just been Chicago. They used to have
Luminar Leisure.
Yeah, but especially in Chicago, they used to have a percentage bar,
Okay.
and it would measure. So you would be allowed to play 30% of 2000s, something like 40% of 90s, like maybe 30% of it. I'm not doing probably the math right here. And you used to basically have to total it up to 100% at the end of every night. So you have to kind of play, your early like 80s, 90s stuff that people probably wouldn't listen to.
Yep.
And then save your bangers for later on. But you were still kind of managing this percentage bar. I think personally, looking back, it was the most ridiculous idea I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's not something I've ever heard of myself, to be if I'm honest. I did a couple of nights in Chicago's, and it was just a case of there was CDJ back then. They were CDJ 1000s, and we just went in and I took my wallet of CDs and then I played.
Yeah.
I've not heard of that percentage thing, but then I suppose if that's what the companies want, they want the DJs to make sure. Because obviously, some clubs you go to, the DJs allow open format, just do what you like. Just crack on, read the crowd, crack on, do what we want. But then, obviously, Chicago's like, I want a certain amount of this, and this. And I'm guessing that's so that they don't get any complaints from anyone. Oh, you didn't play this in the 80s or whatever.
Yeah. But you did have a 5% bar as well, which had to be comedy.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So things like Combine Harvester and Benny Hill and that sort of thing.
I think that was on it. They used to do the more popular one was it was a Jim Curry sketch. I think it was a Saturday night thing. And they were playing Hadaway, What Is Love. And they used to kind of just stand there in a club with the head like that.
Yeah.
And that was like one of them that you'd have to pretty much play like every time the computer kicked in, because it was the only sort of decent comedy thing that you could get away with.
Yeah. You know what I mean? You're talking about, we're sidetracking a little bit here, but, you're talking about comedy music. And it's funny because there's quite a lot of songs out there that have actually, in the UK chart did really, really well. You've got, I can't remember the name, it was Star Trekking Across the Universe, that one. That was one.
That was the Firm.
The Firm, that's it. Yeah. That did really well. And then you had Mr. Blobby. He even got Christmas number 1. I mean, how does that even happen? You know, you had Benny Hill. Who was the other one you had? My Old Man's a Dustbin. What's his name? George Ford. Was it George Formby?
No, it was. I can't remember his name.
I can't remember, but there's been a few songs over the years that are comedy ones. I've never actually done really, really well in the charts. You know, not something that I don't think I would probably play that.
Yeah, but this was.
I mean, if I'm honest.
Yeah, they were just like skits that you could sort of play.
Yeah, I get that. So going back to the DJ stand, in the booth, you're taking the request. He's gone out for a cigarette. Was it a case of just drag and drop with the computer? Say, oh, I'm going to play this next, or I'm going to play that next, or
yeah, pretty much. Yeah. No mixing really. You know, you could probably you couldn't even like beat match on it or anything. It was just, yeah. It was like it was I think it was a KL2 system. Seem to remember it was called. And all the data.
Drag it in and off you go.
Yeah.
Wow. So how long was that? You say 7 years? Was it 7 years at that club?
Something like that. When I was doing Sundays, maybe a bit less. Then I progressed to one across the road. They started offering me Saturday night ones, but back then I was still kind of
still a bit wet behind the ears, were you?
Yeah, going out having a drink and everything like that.
Yeah. And then so you did that, and then you obviously this Christmas Eve gig, did that. So at what point do you think you got the taste of actually, you know what, I could be a DJ, I could do this? At what point do you reckon it sort of kicked in? Do you reckon it was with the requests that sort of time?
I think it was. I mean, I used to do a little thing for a church where I went, a local church, and they used to have like a kind of a kids thing. So at Christmas, when they were doing the pass the parcel, I'd go in with my little ghetto blaster and just play a song and then stop it. Yep. But I always say, like, the thing that kind of got me really into music was when Jive Bunny came along, like back in the day. Yep. And the way that them songs just sort of blended into each other, and there was like little sound effects going on and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, back then when the Jive Bunny mega mix was made, it was made on vinyl, and it was recorded live. And I was talking to the guy, and his name escapes me now. I've done absolutely no research tonight, but yeah, he told me it was all recorded live on vinyl. There was no, you know, if you messed up, you had to start again, right from the start. There was none of this, you know, cut and paste and all of that, like what we can do now. You know,
there was like Audacity and stuff.
Yeah, there was none of that back then.
Yeah,
none of that. And as I say, it was vinyl. And vinyl, I mean, we've spoken about this before. Vinyl seems to be on its way back in now, and there is a lot of vinyl. You go into, there's not many of them, but HMV, they've got a massive vinyl section now. You know, we haven't got many vinyl shops around here, but I know that vinyl is starting to sort of like, you know, creep back in again.
Yeah, because Mojax does his 45s really, doesn't he, with the mixing?
Yeah, so I watched some Mojax stuff online, obviously, and he was at the We DJ event a couple of weekends ago as well. Yeah, so it's starting to come back. So which is good, So John, you've said that you kind of left the sort of the club stuff and sort of went into the wedding scene. What prompted you, like, from, like, you know, you got a residency in a club? What prompted you to sort of go into that sort of the wedding scene? Because I mean, they're two completely different things.
Yeah, it was a guy called Pat Mulligan.
I know Pat.
Yeah, he was working for a company in the Northwest, and I think he was kind of on a recruitment drive, and it was kind of then when it was, Luke, if you can use a mic, and we're looking for kind of the club style now. We're looking for, like, to evolve the wedding scene. So he kind of brought me in. I did a little bit and then kind of dipped out, and then it was kind of, I came back into it again.
You know what? I watched Pat Mulligan do a keynote speech at one of the conferences held by Pro Mobile magazine, and he said a lot of very interesting things. He gave a lot of tips out, and he gave one tip out which resonated with me, and I use it now to this day. And if I was doing a wedding and they had the canapé hour, right, with the drinks and all of that after the wedding service, And then like the front of house will come to you and say, "Oh, can you rally them all up and get them inside now, ready for dinner?" And it'd be a case of I would literally find a chair, a wall, I'll stand on it, "Oh, ladies and gentlemen," I'd shout, "Ladies and gentlemen, wedding breakfast will be served very shortly. Please make your way inside the bed." And I would shout it across 150 people, right? And then Pat on this keynote said, like, "How many people do that?" No one put their hand up. And I thought, I'm not putting my hand up. There's no way I'm going to single myself out for this. But he said, he used to, I don't know if he said he used to do it, but he knows of people that used to do it. He said, just go around to each little group and go, "Right, guys, just let you know." And he said, just talk to them. Don't shout out.
Yeah.
Just go around. Sorry to interrupt. Just to let you know, wedding break. And I still, and I took that tip, and I'll still use that tip today. And lovely guy, Pat. Lovely guy. He's won a number of awards, and he's a very good compere as well. I've seen some of his social media stuff.
Very good.
So how do you still work for Pat, or?
No, Pat left that company, and he went doing something else. But I kind of stayed with them. I got it was like a little Bible that the company would give to you. So basically, what they wanted was all the DJs had to have the same equipment.
Oh, really?
Same booth, same speakers, lights, because then it was kind of if you would go into one of the venues, what they would look at, and maybe if you saw the equipment, you'd go straight away, this is one of the DJs from, said company.
Yeah.
And everything was in there really about like doing the client calls and everything, little prompts, in case like, you were brand new sort of coming into the industry really. I always credit that as well. I said it really helped compared to other ones that I've worked with. And they just kind of, even though I'd done it for a while, sort of threw you in at the deep end. It was still, and I still use the little sort of tips that I get from that boot. I still use them nowadays, really.
Love it. So I'm guessing you've come out of the club scene completely now, apart from the Butlins thing.
Yeah, still sort of keep my hand in just a little bit, but now it's pretty much weddings, corporates. A wedding I did maybe 3 years ago. Sax player was on it. She said, "Oh, I think you're really good. Why don't you come and work for me?" And that's one of the companies I work for now, which is Girls at Mix. We go up and down like the UK. They go international, doing weddings in Italy, Venice, stuff like that. I'm yet to get there yet, but
I'm
keep
sure
trying
you
to
will.
prompt.
Yeah. No, oh, man, that's great. Love that. So, John, where are you at now then? So now you are doing weddings, a little bit of club, and the caravan park things.
Yeah,
Butlins and all that.
I'm basically just a musical prostitute, really. That's how that's how I class myself.
Are you busy?
I'm very busy. I've done it for 20 years, and this year I decided to go full time and see what happens.
Okay. What did you do, if you don't mind me asking? What did you do before, like as your main job?
Yeah, I built static caravans for about 20 years.
Okay.
So it was literally I could, especially like when the early days when I was doing Chicago on a Sunday night, it could be 4 o'clock in the morning when I get in. It'd be 2 hours sleep, and then I go and work all day.
Yeah.
Get to dinner time. Have half an hour's kip on the bench, and then do another half. And then it used to be when that combined with Manchester, I would have to get home on a Monday, go straight to bed, get up, then go and do 10 till 3 on a Monday night, and do it again on a Tuesday. So I've combined it for quite a number of years of getting in at silly o'clock and then just doing straight to a day job or something like that.
Yeah.
But the caravans went a bit funny, and then I tried somewhere else for 12 months, and it was just like, let's just see what happens.
Yep. And at the moment, it's going well. So
it's going well, and touch woods, I don't need to go back to a day job. Combination for 2026 either.
Lovely, love that.
So,
now, John, we're going to have a break in a minute. We are going to come back, get you back, and we're going to talk about. Obviously, you and I have worked on stage, and so I want to talk a little bit about the energy that you bring to your shows, because Yeah, you're another level, in a good way. In a good way. We're going to have some more chit chat and chuckles, I like to call it now, John. Chit chat and chuckles with John, and we're going to do that straight after this break. John, welcome back. Thanks for coming back. I always worry after the break in case people don't come back. You go, oh, mate, I'll dinch them off. But no, thanks for coming back, mate.
Pleasure.
Good stuff. So, John, obviously, we've spoken a little bit about your history, how you started off in the clubs, and then you've, you did a bit of work in the weddings and that sort of thing, and you're now sort of doing the, well, you did a bit of everything really. You got your fingers in quite a few pies, but you have done you've taken the big step into going sort of, full time with this, and so far you've had a really good year, and we hope that it carries on. I just want to, as I said just now, we've worked on stage before with a silent disco. Our first one was in Sheffield, and Matty has got a lot of energy. Maggie's got a lot of energy. Most of the DJs have got a lot of it, but you are another level. I mean, you've got the energy. You've got a little bag of tricks as well, that you sort of bring out. I mean, we had a wig. What else do we have? A tambourine. What else did you have that night?
There was the extender pole, I think, for the 360 that I was making into sort of a guitar. Some sunglasses as well.
Love all of that. Now, obviously, you're quite an entertainer as well as obviously the DJing thing as well. And people coming into the DJing world, from my own experience, when I first started, I didn't like the sound of my own voice over a microphone. Couldn't stand it. So I'd say like 3 things a night. How do you have you always been like that, first of all? Have you always been like that, very charismatic and very energetic? Or
no.
You haven't? Oh, that's interesting. So at what point did you find yourself pushing yourself out of your own comfort zone?
I wouldn't say it was pushing it out of a comfort zone. I think it seems to be kind of another personality that when I'm DJing, if you see me in a club, I'm just going to be like, well, I mean, most people see me in a club, and because I'm typical DJ, I wear black everywhere I go. And with this haircut, I look like a doorman. But yeah, it's just, I think it's always, I don't know, really. I couldn't put my finger on it, but it's, if you get me on stage, I said when I first started doing, well, the silent discos, all the, the Butlins one, all stuff like that. It's like, see me there once, and I will be so sort of timid.
Mm-hmm.
It's unreal. And then just give me maybe an hour, and if I've gone into new venues like clubs I'd never been to before, I'd do an hour. I'd go and find the manager. Is everything okay for you? Anything that you're not too happy about? And I'd just keep checking. But then if I went back there the week after, I'd just get a little bit more confidence behind me, and it just kept growing and growing and growing. So when I originally started in Tiger, it was a little bit like that, but then I was in my little booth and I could just jump about.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like, right, so what can I do? Because we're in a party room. So I already knew about going on the microphone.
Yep.
And then I'd say, like, I'd maybe listen to a bit of music, or, if I was driving to the venue, and I'd be like, oh, that'd be all right that I could play in there. And that's where the thing where the instruments came through. So with being cheese, I used to take I'd take a plastic trumpet, I'd take a tambourine, sunglasses, just any like sort of inflatables. There used to be a stool I could actually sort of project myself off, so I'd be jumping about 20 foot in the air on, like, say, an 80s one like Van Halen and jump or something like that.
Yeah.
Or an S Club 7 and reach for the stairs. I would literally just reach as much as I can. Anything to kind of, to keep the vibe of the party. So
I mean, you must be, Matt's like a Duracell bunny when he's on stage. When I started, I was one of those DJs, just stood behind the DJ stand, pushed the play button, said, ladies and gentlemen, first dance, ladies and gentlemen, buffet's ready, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much, good night. That was literally all I said. And then as time went on and watching other DJs online, it was more YouTube back then, and they were like really interacting with the crowd with, not like your Peter Kay sketch where he'd talk over every single song or whatever, but there'd be like certain little bits where, he would interact with the crowd, or someone would ask for a request and they'd call their name out or whatever. And I sort of progressed myself from that. And one of the things that I learned very quickly was, it doesn't matter what you do, the chances of seeing these people again are quite minimal. You go and do a wedding, unlikely you're going to see many of them again. So it doesn't really matter. And then even if you do see it, they're probably going to forget, what you did dancing around this, that, and the other. And I know that with the silent discos, watching Matt and watching the other DJs, the energy they bring. And I've always said, as I've sort of progressed myself, I've always said, if the guests can see that the DJ isn't enjoying himself, and he's having fun, they're more likely to have fun and not feel like they're being watched on the dance floor type of thing.
Yeah.
They're as the DJs as much as the party as they are as a guest. And I think that, DJs like 247, he's on the dance floor, he's doing Candy Dance. Can't stand Candy. I'm going to put it out there. I say it every time we mention it. I hate that song.
Still not learning that dance yet. Still not learning it.
I don't know it. I played it so many times I don't even know it. But he's got that energy, and he's there, and that's what he does. And I've seen that a lot more DJs are starting to use little gimmicks, little props, or even just themselves jumping around behind the controller or laughing with, the guests and everything. And I think that it's a part of progression that you kind of pick up as you go along. The more confident you get, like you just said, you like yourself, you got confident with what you was doing, and out come out all these little bits and pieces, and it works, and it does work. And I think you kind of have to put your own inhibitions to one side to be that showman, to be that entertainer, as well as the DJ playing the music. So, yeah, I did like your little box of tricks. So I was quite jealous that night, to be fair.
Yeah, but the tambourine didn't really work that well, did it?
It didn't really work at silent disco, does it? To be fair, because I can't hear it. No, it was good stuff. It was good stuff. So, we come across a DJ program that's totally free called Pulse DJ, it's called. Now, it's totally free. You can download it. You download it onto your laptop or your computer. Now, I'd never heard of it before Friday, and Matty and I and Just James come across it, and we had a little look, a little play. So basically, what it is, this Pulse DJ, it's a database of music that you download, and it's what they've done is they've collated what other DJs have been doing, and they upload their playlists or whatever, and they played this, and this. Oh, that's handy because that DJ played that. And then what they've done is that they've got all this data together, and they've basically, if you was to play Gangnam Style, say, right, this program will work out what would be a good song to follow on from Gangnam Style. So you could say, playing Gangnam Style, it works it out and give it, you know what, LMFAO go well after this one. And then you'd search your library and it would be there. And I know off air you said that you'd heard of it before or something similar.
Yeah, there's an American company that kind of, it's called a banger button, and that kind of analyzes your library. You can open it on whatever. I think it's more sort of laptops, really.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know with the Pulse how it would work on, your Prime.
No, it wouldn't.
See.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't work on. It wouldn't work. You'd have to be with an operating system. But I know Matty tried it. He had his laptop out, and he tried it, and it. To be fair, it's good as a little memory jogger. It's like, oh my god, yeah, that would go well or whatever. But the version, because it was his first time using it, it didn't have a history of what he would normally play, so he couldn't suggest, oh, play this next or play that next. Now it has got its flaws, but I mean it's completely free.
Yeah,
and it was quite interesting because when I'm not using standalone, I use VDJ, and VDJ have got something very similar to that as well. Say, oh, this track goes, it's like within the same genre, the same year, the same BPM, whatever. This would go really well with it. So VDJ's got something similar. Serato, would you say it was called Crate Hackers? Was it Crate
Yeah,
Hackers?
yeah, that's the American company.
That's the American one. Okay.
Yeah.
And I know a few people that have used that. But it was good. It was, you know, it's a free piece of software. And if you are a laptop, you know, you use your laptop and you're not standalone, then I can see that it could be another tool to have in your arsenal. If you get, because we do have mental blocks, and it's when like people in custody, you know, guests will come up to you and go, "Have you got this song?" It goes like da 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 da, and you're thinking, "I've got music playing out there. I've got music in my ears here. I have no idea what you're talking about." And you do have these mental blocks. I can see it being a bit of kit that, you know, a bit of software that could potentially come in handy. Could potentially come in handy. Do you use anything like that, John?
I mean, like I said, I'd sign up to the Crate Hackers thing with the banger button. I haven't really sort of used it. The other thing with the Pulse one is what you get with the Crate Hackers is you get like a lot of playlists, but you do get, obviously, with it being America, it's very heavy American bass, and I'm not sure whether the Pulse one would kind of, you know, determine, you know, what kind of data is it pulling in. Is it pulling in just UK DJs, or is it pulling in DJs from America, or, you know, other places?
Yeah, I must be. I mean, I need to do a little bit more research on it, if I'm totally honest with you, because we did just come across it in a coffee shop, to be fair. But yeah, it made me think that I've got a playlist that I call my standard playlist, which has got a full, you know, a bit of everything in there. And if I ever get stuck, like, oh, what can I play next? I'll have a little scroll through. Oh, yeah, okay, I'll go in with that, and then I can go on to that and that, and whatever. Yeah. I could see it being a useful tool if it is more, if it does start pulling out what you play on your playlist, rather than pulling in everything in from America. Because as you say, I mean, the music over there is completely different to over here.
Yeah.
Well, it's not completely different, but the you know, I know what I mean.
I think with the banger button as well. Excuse me. I think it was more. It would analyze your library to a point, but then it would suggest songs that could, you know, go with the one that you were playing. Now, obviously, if you didn't have it, you're a bit knackered. Or if you went back to another gig and played that one, you'd be like, "Oh, I remember that." But like I said, with the other thing as well, it was like that could be an American song or bigger in America than what it would be over here.
Yeah, I get that. John, I mean, honestly, I didn't realise how quick this evening has gone. It's flying by. It's absolutely flying by. From where you started, John, in the club, taking requests, to you doing your butlins and your weddings and all of that. And obviously going over to doing DJing as a full-time job now, if you knew someone that was in your position like a year ago, what advice would you give to them?
I don't know whether just to say, like, you know, if I think really with you know, sort of how finances are and everything like that now, if you could kind of have the work already built up and you wanted to do the DJ and you had enough work coming in, give it 12 months or something like that, and just see how it goes, and then maybe it might carry on. Or it's just like anything, really, you know, it could last for a certain amount of time and then it'd be. But like I said, I mean, lucky, like I said, it's maybe I could have done it 2 years ago, but it was probably 2 years ago. It was like, well, what's it going to be like 2 years from which is now?
Yeah.
And now I'm thinking, well, what's it still going to be like in 2 years' time?
Yeah. But by the sound of it, you've been quite lucky. You know, it's paid off for you so far.
Like I said, a lot of it, I've got to where it has pretty much been right place, right time, and just pestered people as well for gigs, and they're kind of giving in eventually.
Well, that's it. I mean, the thing is, you don't ask, you don't get. You know, it's all very well saying, I'd love to work in a club. If you don't go out there and push yourself a little bit, as well, say, look, any chance, you're unlikely to get anything. But yeah, so John, unfortunately, we honestly, I think we've still got so much to talk about. I want to talk about your butlins days and all of that sort of thing, and where you're going in the next year. I think we're going to have to get you back on to finish off and tell us a few more stories and this, that, and the other. But unfortunately, we've run out of time this evening. But before we wrap up the show, what have you got coming up in the next week or so, mate?
So tomorrow I am off to Scotland for a end of season teams party at Havening. That's Craig, Tara. Wednesday I'm doing an end of season team party in Cleethorpes. Thursday I've got a wedding in Manchester. Friday I'm doing one of my regular sort of bar gigs in Blackpool, which is doing like soul, Motown, disco, stuff like that. And then Saturday I'm off to North Wales for end of season honours party, where it'll be with Reggie and Ollie. You know the Netflix song.
Oh yeah.
And Gareth Gates is going to be up there as well performing. So
nice. A bit of a busy week then, really.
Musical prostitute.
Mate, you're crisscrossing across the country there, mate. Yeah. So when do you find time to fit any family time in, or is it just
I try my best. I mean, when I originally met with wife, that was on Tinder. She was a paramedic, and she actually used to say, "I'm a workaholic." And my first response after seeing that was like, "Yeah, we'll see about that."
Love that, absolutely love that. So, John, you were our winner in our 1 year Groove Junction special. How are you getting on with your star prize, the Wolf Mix?
It is sat right next to me. I don't think I can move it because otherwise I'm going to knock my lights up. No, I can't.
Okay.
But yeah, sat right next to me. Yeah, had a good program in it. Don't really know DMX, or I didn't, and I just find it sort of straightforward now.
Brilliant.
Find
Love that.
Find your program on it. Put your channels on, your addresses.
It does it all for you, pretty much.
Yeah.
Love that. Brilliant. So, John, you're going to come back, yeah?
If you'll have me, yeah, I'll
have you back, mate. Absolutely, 100%. Now, listen, guys, all John's details are underneath in the comments there. Go and check out his socials on your TikToks and your Instagrams and all that. Go check him out. Like, share, follow, do all the good stuff for him, all right? Now, listen, John, thank you ever so much for co-hosting the Groove Junction with me this week. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on. I appreciate your time. Now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, as always, new episode of the Groove Junction drops every Friday at 10 a.m. on all your major podcast providers. And you can also watch us on Spotify and YouTube as well. Please feel free to leave any comments you like, good or bad. Let us know what you think. And if there's something you'd like us to be talking about, please just put it down. If you want to know, how do I talk on a microphone? Or what's the best music to play at such and such? Or what light should I get? Drop us a line. We'll help you out. That is what we are here for. The whole idea of the Groove Junction is to be a place where people can come and they can ask questions, and we can give out whatever. If we got the answer, we'll give out the answer. And remember, and I've said it before, and John, you'll agree with me on this, there is no such thing as a silly question. All right? Don't feel there is. If you feel embarrassed about asking a question, then PM me. Not a problem. We won't disclose your name or anything like that, but we'll bring it into the conversation so you will get the answer. But yeah, reach out. John's details are at the bottom in the comments there. I will be back next Friday at 10 a.m. Until then, from me, as always, I wish you safe and I wish you well. Look after yourselves and look after each other. John, thanks again, my friend.
No problem. Anytime, mate.
Brilliant. Until next week, be safe, be lucky.
See you later.